Welcome, everybody. It's National Flag Day, so please stand for a Pledge of Allegiance and a short invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, comfort and relieve those challenged by emotional issues. Give your power of healing and strengthen them. In your name we pray. Amen.
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 Roll call.
Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Beck.
Here.
Miss Lees.
Here. I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Miss Lees.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes, May the 3rd, 2022, special meeting and work session minutes for May 19th, 2022.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Miss Lees.
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Fiscal Officer's Report.
The ending balance in the HSA account was $10,647.85. The working account, the ending balance is $7,946,019.93. Our meter investment account has a balance of $8,192,294.78. Some of our major fund balances. General fund has $2,845,955.55. The police fund has a balance of $1,141,671.67. The fire has $701,646.71. And the Safety Services Fund contains $3,102,096. The Finance Committee had a meeting last week, and there was an election for the board. Pete Sales was elected chairman. Mike Tranter was elected co-chair. The committee requested a meeting with meter representatives on our investment group to review how the investments are being handled. The committee also discussed the need to look ahead to replacing our current administration building. The committee requests that the trustees approve the hiring of an architect or to direct our administrator to do an RFQ in preparation for getting someone to do an evaluation. They request a feasibility study on where a new structure makes the most sense, and the consensus that evening was it makes the most sense as an addition to this building. It would require far less floor space because of what's available here to be used, such as this room and many other rooms down here. Access to the lower level is facilitated certainly by the presence of an elevator, so we don't have to worry about that. But, you know, we'd have to make sure that there's enough space to hook part of another building onto this building. Anyhow, you know, they do want me to make that request this evening of the trustees that an RFQ be issued to begin that study.
We did do a feasibility study.
You did a feasibility
few
study
years
in
ago.
2018,
Mm-hmm.
and that feasibility study involved an administration building in conjunction with the service building on the site that the current administration building's on. And I know that there's been approval for the service building, but my understanding is most people don't think that that would be the ideal situation for the location of an administration building. At least to most I've discussed it with, it makes more sense to have it here, just because we wouldn't have to build as much. So that feasibility study was important in that it pointed out the need that was there, and it pointed out the deficiencies of the current building. And one of the, it's grandfathered in the way it sits. You would never be able to do it like that again because it's not ADA compliant, and they present some of the risks associated with that fact, with that building. So, I don't think you can rely on an evaluation done in 2018 for that site, because we need information on whether or not it works on this site, and if the three of you think that that's appropriate.
Feasibility study is what's being requested, correct?
I can't hear you.
A
feasibility
feasibility
study is
study
what's being
is being requested?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know how much a feasibility study will cost?
The one in 2018 was for the administration building and the service building, and it might have had something to do with the meat house.
Oh, the meat house.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that was $11,274.
Anything further? Anything further?
I'm sorry?
Anything further?
The only thing, I wanted to clarify something that happened at the last trustee meeting. One of our residents, Carol Symmes, stood at this podium and stated with authority that the township owns the property where the cannon sits in Camp Dennison, and that is erroneous information. The township does not own it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much. We're moving on to presentations. We have a wonderful proclamation to celebrate a man who served 31 years with the Sheriff's Department today. So I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll honor him. This is a proclamation recognizing the law enforcement career and contributions of retiring Hamilton County Sheriff Deputy Robert Bobby Hom. Whereas Robert Hom, retiring deputy for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, has served in law enforcement for the last 31 years and is well respected by fellow law enforcement officers. Do you want him to come up? I was going to read it and then invite him up. Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. Because I thought, then we do the picture and then we do everything. Okay. Because I cannot come down there, so I was going to go. All right. That's cool. All right. Well, welcome. Congratulations. Okay, so I will start over. Whereas Robert Hom, retiring deputy for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, has served in law enforcement for the last 31 years and is well respected by fellow law enforcement officers, civilian employees, and volunteers. And whereas his career began with the Sheriff's Office in 1991, I think my father hired you. All right. That's great. And he was promoted to road patrol in 1996 and assigned to Symmes Township in 2009, where he has spent the last 13 years of his career. And we are very thankful for you spending 13 years in Symmes Township. Okay, whereas during his tenure with the Sheriff's Office as a deputy in Symmes Township, he has taken over 707 police reports, particularly in 187 criminal arrests, issued over 527 traffic citations, taken over 901 crash reports, and made over 12,045 crime prevention contacts. And whereas not only has Robert initiated some incentive-taking measures to address the modern-day challenges of the law enforcement community, he, along with other members of his department and District 3 Command, have mentored and trained other officers throughout the county, striving to proactive in all areas of effective policing. And now, therefore, be it be resolved that we, Symmes Township Board of Trustees, hereby recognize retiring officer Robert Hom and for his legacy of service in the law enforcement to the residents of Symmes Township and surrounding communities, expressing our deepest appreciation for his dedication and commitment to citizens of the township and its police department, and extend to Robert and his family our best wishes for many years of happiness in the future. Now therefore being resolved that we, the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim that Thursday, June 30th, 2022 be recognized as Robert Halm Day throughout Symmes Township and the surrounding community. Duly adopted the 14th of June, 2022 while in regular session. And it's signed by all three of us.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes. I think we
I
need,
was gonna say, can you get there?
then we want everybody up after this.
Okay.
Family,
Yeah.
officers. Okay, come on in here.
Bobby Hom Day, you gotta like that.
Everyone's going to behave that day.
Yes.
Okay, now can you guys
Absolutely.
go up there with them? All right.
Jim's.
Everybody, come.
Come on, guys, don't be
Come
bashful.
on.
You look like you're the golf pro, but.
Got it? All right, thank you. Congratulations. You gotta give a speech.
I don't think I have any really good stories, but I can tell you this. What a surprise. I just want to say that I am honored to serve the community of Symmes Township. I've developed a lot of friendships with working integral system of Symmes Township, and I will cherish the friendships that I have developed. And I'd just like to say also that I'm blessed and honored to be an employee of Hamilton County and Symmes Township. It's been a wonderful career and a great time to serve, and especially in Symmes Township. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I just want to tell you a quick story, if you'll permit me.
Yes.
So, like Bob, I was hired by Sheriff Simon Lease January 12th, 1995, and I was hired in, and I started working the floors in the jail. And after a few short months, I confess, I was getting a little bored, and just I wanted a little more. I felt like I was an adult babysitter, but I you always have to start somewhere. But I was kind of striving and yearning for more, right, Bob?
Absolutely.
So I got it in my head that I wanted to go to intake, because at the time I was 22, 23 years old. I thought, that's the place to be. It's a faster pace, and for those of you that don't know, intake is where people are coming in freshly, newly arrested off the street. It was kind of action-packed at times. It was very busy, at times difficult, but at times very, very fun. So I had my sights set on working in intake, and I pestered my bosses until they finally said, sure, go, get out of our hair, go to intake and do your thing. So after a shift or maybe two, I ran into and met Bob Holm. And again, I don't know how old you were, but I was 22, 23, and I was automatically impressed. I was like, man, this guy he is sharp, he is squared away, he knows how to handle himself, he knows how to have fun, but when it's time to roll up your sleeves and get dirty and intake, you do get a little dirty, unfortunately, sometimes. I thought, this is the guy. This is true, Bob. This is all true. You're looking at me like this is insanity, but this is true. I wanted to be like Bob. We all take bits and pieces of different people, and you develop your own style and your own way of doing things. And I stole a lot from Bob. So not long after that, 96-ish, there were rumors of a road patrol test and officers putting in for and exploring that possibility. And still to this day, it happened back then, and still to this day, whenever there's a promotion in our agency, there's a pink a posting, and it comes out on a bright neon pink piece of paper. You can't miss it, right, guys? You see them all the time. They're put on bulletin boards and on supervisors' desks and mail bins. And I reported for duty one afternoon, second shift intake, and there was the posting, this bright pink piece of paper, and there were 2 names on the list, some other gentleman and Bob Holmes, and he made it to the road. So, 1996.
Yeah, it was.
And it was not uncommon back then for us to have 50, 60, 70 corrections officers and special deputies at the time sit down and take those tests and compete. It was extremely competitive.
Yeah.
So, Bob, I was really happy that you made it to the road then. And I can't say I'm happy that you're leaving us, but I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So,
Kind words, appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We've got a little token of our appreciation here. You can eBay this or just display it.
Very nice.
Just, please display that. And family, as always, can't do it without you. So,
Does he get this extra piece?
100%. Thank you.
thanks, Bob.
No, we keep it. I gave him that one.
Okay.
I'll be very brief. Captain Smith, and like Bobby Holm, it was your father that hired me also. A little bit before that, 1988. I've known Bobby his entire career out here on the streets. It's the citizens of Hamilton County, the appreciation that they have for the service you've done. Your daughter's 21 years old. You've been here longer than her. So you have a long, good history with us. We appreciate it. It's through the hard work of the trustees, making sure that they have adequate policing and contract with us. And it's through their support of law enforcement that it keeps officers like Bobby Holm here. It's important. He could have left several years ago. Our retirement system, the way it was, he could have left, but he stayed. He stayed because he likes working here in Symmes Township, and that's because of the elected officials here who make sure fire is always good, police is always good. So we are appreciative of it. I appreciate the hard work. We try to have that tradition. You've served 3 sheriffs as I have. I like to think you've held up your end of the bargain. Hopefully we have. You getting back, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it. He's still going to be a special deputy with us. So some of your festivals and stuff, you may see Bobby there, not at the beer booth, but maybe walking around in uniform. So I appreciate it. The sheriff's office appreciates it. You've done your family name proud. Thank you.
Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay.
The report.
Yep. So you are welcome to stay, but you
Catch it
don't
on
have
TV.
to. Yeah, I'm sure none of you will be staying, but thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody. Congratulations. Okay, so the next presentation we have is for the health insurance renewal.
I don't see our broker, so I will just go through this real quick. Basically, they went through and they went out and looked at Medical Mutual, Anthem, United Healthcare, and Humana. So on, I think it's in this colored packet where it says Assured Partners, on the, let's see, on page 3 of 6, it kind of compares all of, the different networks. And then what they came down to and what they're recommending, so we can either, at our renewal, we can either renew at the 18% with our grandmother plan, which is going to cost us around $59,000 extra every year, or we can switch to, we'll stay with Medical Mutual, but switch to a MIWA plan, and it's basically the same $3,000, $6,000 deductible. The annual out-of-pocket limit is a little bit more because there's actually co-pays for prescriptions. And it looks like the co-insurance out-of-network it goes from 40% to 50%. So you see under prescription drugs, you can see the tiers, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. So what that is once you reach your deductible, you have to start paying a co-pay for your prescription drugs. But what we could do on the other end, instead of it costing our employees, we could add it to the HRA. So we just increase the HRA and have that additional money set aside in the HRA. Or there's another plan that they recommend. But basically, I think I'm looking at just the two, so you guys can just tell me, if you want me to go ahead and renew what we have, or if you want us to switch to the new MIWA.
So
Like-
when do we have to have this decision made by?
We would have to do it at our next meeting.
Okay. And so how much is the additional copay?
It is, let's see, for tier 1, it's gonna be $15, tier 2, it's 45, tier 3, it's 75, and tier 4, it's 275. So we would have to figure out some kind of formula to add to the HRA if that's what you wanted to do.
Do we know what like tier 4 drugs are? What they are?
Unfortunately not. We've never had a tiered system before, so I have no idea. Every insurance company is different, how they, usually tier 1s are your antibiotics and things like that, and
Right.
tier 2, it kind of,
Is it-
So
goes up from
Is there
there.
any way we can have Charge Schneider find out what like what type of
What
drugs?
tiers
I
on
mean,
medical
not
mutuals?
necessarily the names, yeah. but,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
are we going to have a lot of people using tier 4 or not very many people using
Right.
tier 4?
yes, it's a good question.
Kim, why aren't they here tonight?
Well, the only thing I can think of is maybe because we switched the dates,
Okay.
it was a
Well,
miscommunication.
can we have a meeting? Can we have them come in and give a presentation? I mean, this is
We
a lot
could,
of-
but
a
you
lot
would
of
have
options for
to,
us to just say, let's pick one.
you could, but you would have to make a decision in July.
That's okay.
Okay.
Between now and July.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, whatever we do, we've got to figure out our HRA because it is a hot mess.
Yep, so then I
Yeah, I'll pick
have,
whatever option is different than what we currently have.
Yes, it's all three of us think it's terrible.
so we have a different proposal in the packet. So, I also wanted to mention our principal insurance is going up 4.9% for the dental plan. And then, let's see.
We don't-
So then the new HRA that we have proposed is with custom design benefits. It's a little bit more expensive, so it's a $1,500 setup fee. It's $20 a month per employee per month. So for the 18 of us, we would pay $360 a month. And then, let's see. So basically, the way it works is when you go to the doctor, you would actually give them your HRA card and your benefit card at the same time, and then they run it like that. So you would not have to pull EOBs off off your medical mutual accounts.
So how would our doctor's office know?
I think you have to give your HRA card to your doctor.
Yeah, but how would they know how to do that?
I don't know, I think that's what this company does, is they work with the doctor's office to
Okay,
make sure that happens.
okay.
Because sometimes when we use that card at the doctor's office, then it ends up getting kicked back.
Yeah, if
Electronically.
you don't supply them the EOBs that they're requesting, they shut it off.
They shut mine off.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's to prevent fraud.
you're at a
I mean,
doctor's office,
it's nothing against
it's-
you guys, it's to prevent fraud, so that people aren't misusing it.
it's just like twice the work
Yeah,
to get the job done.
yeah.
I still say bring them in and talk to us.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything in front of me that you're referring to.
Okay, so we're gonna get with Charge Snyder and have them come in and we'll figure that out before next meeting, right?
Yep.
Is that our plan? Okay,
Yeah.
sounds
Can
good.
I ask a question?
Sure.
We switched from Burnham and Flower to Charge
should go
Snyder.
back to Burnham and Flower.
Charge Snyder now has surveyed the same providers that Burnham and Flower would have done, or we had, and these changes in percentage, 18% increase, that they stay with the grandmother plan and all that kind of stuff, would have been the same had we been with Burnham and Flower?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've always just taken the increase.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think what the benefit to Assured Partners, what they brought to us is they were able to negotiate all of our other ancillary plans, so our life insurance, the dental, and the short-term disability, and they were able to get that at a lower cost.
Well, but I heard you say even that's going up. Dental's going up.
Just the dental,
Okay.
just the dental.
All right. I guess I'd like to see us, they'll come in and talk to us and tell us what's going on,
Okay,
so I can have something in front of me to look at.
okay.
Okay.
Do you have your iPad? Because I've scanned all this stuff in,
Okay.
so,
We, Well, I didn't bring my iPad.
All right,
Okay.
moving on. Public hearings, proposed tax budget, excuse me, for 2023.
So we talked about this at our finance committee meeting the other night. So basically, we posted this on our website, so anybody could be out there looking at it if they wish to, or they could request a public records document for it. But basically, for the general fund, we're proposing revenues of $1,397,783. On the expenditure side, it's $1,746,685. So right now, our carryover balance is $2,887,737.30. Under the motor vehicle license fund, we have projected revenues of $19,400, expenditures $32,500. So the carryover right now is $108,187. Under the gas tax, we're projecting revenues of $222,100. On the expenditure side, $286,500. So we have a carryover balance of $260,080. Under the road and bridge fund, we have revenues projected at $231,304. On the expenditure side, $234,57. Our carryover balance right now, for a projected carryover balance of $318,355.49. In the cemetery fund, we're projecting revenues of $47,250. In the expenditures, $87,950. So a carryover balance of $18,078.09. Under the parks levy, we projected revenues of $678,463. On the expenditure side, it's $772,139 for a carryover of $329,134. Under the ROSI levy, revenues of $571,624, expenditures of $606,975, and a carryover balance of $264,36. On the police side, we projected revenues of $994,746. Expenditures the same, with a carryover balance of $852,602.01. Under fire, we've projected revenues of $1,029,452. Revenues are expenditures are the same, so for a carryover balance of $740,005.18. Under the road levy fund, which is our major road levy where we pay for all our capital improvements out of, projected revenues at $571,624. Under the expenditure side is $628,925 for a carryover balance of $199,914.34. Under the road levy 2, which is our personnel, projected revenues of $286,744 and expenditures of $270,125 for a carryover balance of $227,950. Under the EMS levy, the revenues of $679,918, expenditures $679,918. Under the carryover, $612,211. Safety services levy, we have projected revenues at $3,813,523. Projected expenditures, $3,704,679 for a carryover balance of $3,277,999.18. Under the permissive motor vehicle tax levy fund for the township, we have projected revenues of $105,250. Under the expenditures, $110,000 for a carryover of $151,800. In the lighting fund, we have revenues projected at $155,000. Expenditures the same for a carryover balance of $68,574.95. In the special improvement fund, we have revenues projected at $92,341. Under expenditures, $91,842. So a carryover balance of $2,998.04. Under the Fields Erdel TIF, we have projected revenues of $840,000. We have expenditures at $1,823,000. So a carryover balance of $1,427,152.60. Under permissive motor vehicle license county, we have revenues projected at $26,600, expenditures at $56,600. for a carryover balance of $73,669.86. And that is it. Looks like, let me see what I have here. Oh, I'm sorry. So for total, the cemetery bequest fund, we have projected revenues at $60, so that gives us a $12,344 balance. We also have a balance in the real estate fund of $14,444, and the parkland acquisition fund of $50,697. So total revenue, $11,762,512. Total projected expenditures of $13,311,093, and that will leave us with a carryover of $11,917,814. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks for looking healthy.
Yeah?
Yep. Okay. So do I need to close the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of disbursements warrant numbers 81128 to 81357 and voucher 97 to voucher 146 in the amount of $1,143,077.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Okay, we're at reports. Law Director. I believe our Law Director's not with us tonight, so Police. I think we already talked to them tonight. So Fire.
Thank you, Board. A couple meetings ago, I was unable to be here, and you purchased a piece of equipment for us in the EMS division. And I know some of the trustees had a question about what is this and what does it do for our residents. So we just have a very quick presentation of what that piece of equipment is and what it does for the health and safety of our residents.
I think I raised the question.
Okay.
I wasn't familiar with it, but I was satisfied with the answer. We welcome the presentation, but I think we already voted it through. And
Yeah, you did. You did.
Okay.
The trustees did vote it. But I always want to make sure that the trustees have all the information possible so that if a resident ever asks what a piece of equipment does for us or what an expenditure, and it's a very quick presentation. And I will note that we are the only EMS system in the area that has this piece of equipment. And I know our medical director, our doctor, is incredibly excited about the ability of us having this for our patients and being able to send this information back to the hospital. So it's a pretty cool piece of equipment. We won't take much of your time. It'll be very quick.
So while I'm talking about the piece of equipment, Captain Hall is going to demonstrate it. He's going to come up front there and show you exactly how
This is the
how it works. Yes. So recently, you guys purchased the 2 Butterfly IQ portable ultrasounds for your guys' medic units.
Yes.
These devices will be placed in service for the paramedics to use once an established protocol with our medical director and completed training
You're
for
gonna
our
do it on
crews.
yourself?
you can do it on your.
He's going to do it himself.
That cold gel. Yeah, we're familiar
Good
with
for you.
ultrasounds.
During our preliminary meeting with Dr. Policastro, who is our medical director, we discussed using the ultrasound machines for the following things. FAST,
Too funny.
which is like an assessment for trauma victims. This includes looking for blood around the heart and in the abdominal area. Checking the lungs that detects for a pneumothorax, which is a collapsed lung, or a hemothorax, which is blood or fluid in the lungs. And it'll also help with diagnosing somebody who's in pulmonary edema. So if they're having shortness of breath, trouble breathing, we determine where they got fluid in their lungs.
It's amazing, the technology today.
Yep. Vascular access for our hard-to-start IV patients.
Yep.
Detections of abdominal aortic aneurysms.
You look like is there?
What are you really surveying? Oh, your heart? Okay.
Yeah.
He's looking at- he's looking at the heart.
In red when we're coming and going?
You're going to have color mode.
Okay.
Color mode for that. Yeah.
That's exactly what we see when we're, like, when we were pregnant.
I was like, oh,
Sorry.
We'll do color.
Yeah, that's
Put that a little lower on you.
So, yeah.
Except we saw little feet and hands and.
When you look at the heart.
Okay,
cool.
now I see the flashes of red there.
Huh. Well, that's cool. That's super cool.
So like I said,
Anything that
this also help detect abdominal aortic aneurysm. So if we have a patient who's hypovolemic, got low blood pressure,
Yeah.
we can see if that has rupture or not. We can also check for fetal heart sounds. We will not diagnose in the field, but we will check for them. And finally, it'll help
Don't
for
tell
like
them if they're
cardiac
having a boy or a
standstill. So
girl.
determination of death in the field, just a final thing. We can look to make sure the heart is not actually beating in the field. So, and these are just a few areas in which we'll be using the new Butterfly IQ system.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
This is a new field coming to the EMS system, like the chief said, and LSFD always tries to stay on the cutting edge of both EMS and
I like the
fire.
color. That's pretty cool.
What's your hospitals think of this?
We actually spoke with the head medical director for Bethesda North, and he is very excited about it.
Okay,
So-
so you can diagnose more in the field.
Well, we don't wanna-
alert them as to what's coming.
We don't want to diagnose, we can just,
You can alert them.
we can alert them
What's
to
coming,
what's coming.
so that they can
Yes.
be better prepared to deal with it.
Yes,
Okay, that's a plus.
yes, this is a plus.
That's great.
Especially
And it
with
allows
light
them to give
preemption
us
devices.
medical advice in the field on what we should be doing for
Right.
what they're seeing on that.
Right.
I think we just recently had a case of a call to a Symmes Township facility where we could have used that. So, I think you all know what we're talking about, but I can't say what we're talking about, but, so, I think it's interesting.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea, but,
Oh,
Yeah, you do.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do.
Duh.
Oh, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. Okay, I do.
So-
All right,
Yeah, with that, that would help with that patient.
yes.
And the only other thing, I'm sorry, the trustees have any questions on that? Sorry, Mr. Bryant.
No,
Does-
that's
Does
awesome.
this information get sent
Yeah.
ahead to the hospital,
Yeah, it's
or
transferred
do they
to
just
the
go
lab.
with your
Okay.
verbal?
We can set up with the medical director, any of the doctors, they can pull it up and look at it.
Okay,
And then the guys we can pull back for training opportunities, guys can look at it, we incorporate it during those trainings, and they can see it as well. We can store it on the cloud, and simply whoever needs to see it.
Try help is looking at the same system for their ERs as well.
okay.
Pretty cool.
How long is the training program?
It'll probably take about a month for us to go through it and get guys up to snuff on it, make sure, so they know what they're looking for.
Yeah, because we,
That's what the medical director's focused on.
yeah, we had to write a protocol for it that the medical director had to sign off on and give us permission to use it. So everything that we do, we go through the township's medical director, and he has to sign off on and agree on everything. And I don't know if the trustees know about it, but our medical director actually looks at the EMS run reports, and he can do that on the computer, and then sends information back to paramedics. I like this, I don't like this, I want you to be more trained in this area. So especially any critical patients, he reviews those, and so we can use that information in training, and make sure, and he always makes sure that, of course, that the protocol is followed. And those are the things that have to happen when you're an accredited agency like we are.
Okay.
And the only other thing I have is, you have on your agenda later on in the meeting, was just a correction, I think it's G 2272, which is a resolution to approve payment on preemption devices, which that expenditure was already approved. It's just that we're paying a different vendor. Because when we brought our preemption devices here in the township, we bought them from Capital Electronics. Well, when we combined with Deerfield Township and bought with theirs, they were using a different vendor. So our resolution stated that we would be paying for that through Capital Electronics, and in reality, it wasn't. It was just a different vendor. So no more revenue, or I'm sorry, no more expenditures than what you already approved. It's just a different vendor that we're paying that.
But we didn't break it up into two payments?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, the two payments, because one was for the equipment and the other one was for the programming of the equipment. But the name on the resolution that we had provided to Ms. LaPensi was the company that we used here in Symmes Township, but in reality, Deerfield Township, who's in charge of the program, used a different vendor.
Okay. All right,
And that's all I have, trustees. Thank you.
thank you. Director of Public Works, I don't believe he's here with us tonight. Committees, Finance Committee meeting 6/8/2022. Does anybody want to make a comment? I think we already
Joe
covered that.
Joe already talked about it. Oh.
Okay. Other? We don't have any. This is where we have hearing from residents. If anybody would like to come up and speak, please join us. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Better, couldn't you?
A little bit. Thank you.
Good evening, trustees. I am here to thank you for the gift of the 4 trees for Camp Dennison Landscape Project. They have added beauty and have made a noticeable presence to the residents, along with bikers, walkers, horseback riders that travel the bike trail through the community. I have seen many enjoying the surroundings while they rest on the benches in that area. Along with the trees, the flower pots, the book boxes from Symmes Township, and the flowers gifted from Camp Dennison Civic League, an additional tree was gifted by Andrea Barnhill and Mimi Boswell to round out the 5 trees in the green space between Campbell Avenue and the bike trail. There are many Camp Dennison residents who have volunteered their time and tools in various ways for this project, including the clearing out of debris, cutting grass, digging holes, watering the plants and trees. I would like to publicly also thank Ann and Tony Linding, Tom Alfred, Andrea Barnhill, Suzanne Marshall, Kevin Piles, Mimi Boswell, Jeff Isles, Mike Howe, Judy Havel, Carol Sims, and Tina Bennett for their help in this project. A final thanks again to Symmes Township and all of the staff for being an integral part of the phase of Camp Dennison Landscape Project, and look forward to continuing this project as we work on the Cannon area phase of the project.
Thank you very much.
It's so appreciated. I can't even tell you. It's just, and I know I said it all here, but it just means so much. And to see the community come out and come together and people talking all over the community, it's a good thing, especially in times like these. So thank you for being a part of it. And, you know, we have a wonderful community. Symmes Township is, holy cow, they're great. Police officers, fire department, all of you guys. And just can't thank you enough, and all of the workers. I mean, Bill Pittman, thank goodness, he's good, and Bill Pittman and all of the guys, Dave, they have just been so gracious to everybody in the community, so thank you.
You're welcome. And we want to thank you
Yes.
because if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't have gotten started. So you took it upon yourself to start this, so thank you.
Yes,
you.
you are a great liaison. And,
Yes, you are.
And you have great ideas. So
It's-
we appreciate all that.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. It's
and
been
I
an
know
honor.
that we have on for new business the Camp Dennison landscaping, but you want to kind of just talk about it now so she doesn't have to wait?
Sure.
First of all, we have to thank Phil because he's done all the legwork with the engineer's office. So he's kind of taken it under his wing, and he's done a great job. And I think because of him, we're going to accomplish what you want to do.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
you want to give a summary?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I
You're
just
welcome.
simply
Because you
trapped
deserve
Eric
it.
back in the elevator at work, and I've got a captive audience.
Push the
That's a
stop
good
button.
thing.
Right.
Stop button.
Yeah. No, he's a great person to work with. And we're lucky to have him as our county engineer, and he's funny because he can kind of go way out and then drill right in any part of the county. So when I mentioned Camp Dennison, he's like, yeah, okay, what do you want to talk about? He knows exactly what we're interested in. And he's very open to working with us. He recognizes, as we know, that it's township, it's county, and then it also touches the state road. So we've just got to work with everybody, but that's not unusual, and we do that a lot. So I think the biggest interesting thing that Kim has discovered, working with our law director, is that the property itself, and you can speak more detail on it, but the property
The cannon
apparently is
area.
up for grabs.
Nobody owns it.
So, do you want to fill in on that one?
Yeah, it's basically an orphaned property. Apparently, it was owned by a guy named Pink Voss, which is a namesake in Camp Dennison, and he's also buried in our cemetery. In 1903, he transferred that parcel to a granite company in Pennsylvania. So, but then he also transferred it again to the Hamilton County Memorial Association and the Hamilton County Commissioners, which you can't transfer property twice. So technically, it's still owned by the Granite Company, which is now defunct in Pennsylvania. So it's technically an orphaned parcel. And now we have a resolution on later on to actually go through the appropriation process to acquire it through the court.
Wow. That's
So,
awesome.
interesting, I'm not sure where these ventures lead us to, but,
Okay.
yeah.
So I
Learning as
remember
we
me
go.
telling you that when it comes to government, we're a little slow.
A little.
But we're getting there.
Okay. That's
But
great.
also, I talked to Eric, the fact that Kugler Mill comes down and intersects with 126. And
Yes.
I don't want to speak for him, but he is open to the fact that the one when it V's and they both hit 126, that's kind of redundant. We don't really need both those roads. And, he's willing to bring it down to one. And I said, if we're going to reshuffle the deck down here, do we want to go ahead and make that road, that intersection, a little safer by making it a true 90-degree angle? Most municipality, like Madeira, just did that
Right.
very nicely at Camargo. So he said, yeah, that would make sense. They would like to do that just to, like you say, optimize safety at that intersection. So we can use that information to begin our planning now, and just not put a tree where we're going to put a road
Right.
shortly down the road. So no pun
Okay.
intended. But yeah, I think we can begin to work with that and keep
Okay.
moving forward.
So the township is looking at appropriating the property now.
Mm-hmm.
Timeline, what does, yeah.
I have no idea.
No.
We have to pass this resolution tonight, and then our law director said there's a second resolution that we have to pass at the next meeting.
Okay,
And then he will file it with the court, and then I guess it has to go through whatever judicial process it has to go through, which I have no idea what that means.
okay.
Okay.
All right, well, it's coming along, and it's
Yes.
exciting, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Anyone else? Okay, correspondence, events and meetings. Zoning Commissioner meeting Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Center Service Center. I said that right. Juneteenth holiday, all government offices closed Monday, June 20th, 22. Story time with the library Monday, June 27th, 2022 from 10 to 10:30 at Symmes Park in the Lemming Shelter. July 4th holiday, all government offices closed Monday, July 4th, 2022. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting Monday, July 11th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Service Center. Regular trustees meeting Tuesday, July 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Service Center. Old business, we have none. New business, Camp Dennison Landscaping, I believe we just talked about. Does anybody want to add anything to it? Okay. And then I moved to set a public hearing date for July 12th, 2022 at 7:05 for a zone change / major revision received by Greg Malone, applicant representing Castell 2 LLC owner, for a major revision to allow the creation of an out parcel in front of the existing coal store for the purpose of constructing a future additional commercial building utilizing existing parking lot space and accessing points at 9201 Fields Erdel Road on the south side of Fields Erdel. Parcel number 620-0190060.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, roll call?
Discussion, under discussion.
Yeah, I said
This has already gone before zoning commission or BZA. And that's why it's coming to us for a public hearing?
Zoning Commission, yep, it went through Regional Planning Commission and Zoning Commission.
Okay, has there a recommendation been made by the party?
Yes.
Okay, good enough.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-59, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into agreement with Professional Cabling Solution to install cabinets for, server and other IT equipment and move the equipment in the amount of $11,525.85.
Second.
Discussion?
Where's that going to be located? We consolidating everything, or?
Right, it'll be moved from, we kind of have multiple locations underneath the cabinets that are near the copier. So all of that equipment is going to be taken and put into cabinets that are going to be in our furnace room. So it's, we have all, like where all our telephone equipment is and where all the kind of like the cabling comes into the building.
Okay,
It'll all be in one room now.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-60, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into a participatory/maintenance agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation and the Board of Trustees of Symmes Township for installing a vandal fence on Snyder Road Bridge over I-71, I guess that's Ham 71, 1858.
Second.
Discussion? I think we've talked about this several times before.
I know, but what's the maintenance that has to be done there?
Oh my God.
It's a participatory agreement. Or is ODOT going to maintain it, or do we have to?
No, we have to maintain it. So we have to maintain the vandal fence once we install it.
Okay. Do
So
we
if
know
anything
what-
ever happens to it, we're on the hook for it.
But it's mostly damage, not painting it and all that kind of stuff.
No, it
isn't
shouldn't need to be painted, but I would venture down the road, it could potentially,
Okay. All right.
and I'm not sure how many years. I would think it's far, far into the future.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-61, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into a fishing agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resource and the Board of Trustees of Symmes Township.
Second.
Discussion? Exactly what is this, Kim?
I was gonna say, I have ODNR in the audience, so if you wanna come on up,
All right,
and then you can kind of tell us about your program so that everybody knows, and then you get exposure through our video system.
Yeah, so my name's Mike. I am a fisheries biologist with
Okay.
the Division of Wildlife, Department of Natural Resources. My office is up in Xenia. We manage our public fisheries, Southwest Ohio, 17 counties down here. And the reason I'm here talking to you guys is because we stock a lot of fish all over the state, like tens of millions of fish every year. And one of those things that we stock is trout. Have you ever fished
Yeah.
for rainbow trout here in Ohio?
Yes.
Yes?
In Ohio.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
just fish for everything. I don't even know what I'm
Where,
doing,
where,
but I just
where,
stick it in
No,
there.
I guess I missed the point there,
Oh.
but I'm familiar with rainbow trout. but-
all right. So we stock trout all over the state, and we do that at. Sorry.
Yeah, fine.
Trout calling.
Give me a state phone, and it must be a recycled number. I get like just unbelievable amounts of spam calls. Sorry. Anyway, we stock those fish like at our lakes where we have jurisdiction. State parks, Stone Lick State Park, Clark Lake in Springfield. We've done a lot of research. We spent a lot of money on this program, and we found that we're expanding it, and we want to get those fish closer to people. We don't own water bodies that, small bodies of water that are around a lot of people. You guys do. Hamilton Township over in Warren County, Delhi Township down in Hamilton County, and Miami Meadows over in Claremont County. Anyway, trying to talk to all you guys to figure out how we can get these fish in your guys' ponds, lakes, and try to get them closer to people so that people don't have to hoof it all the way out to Stone Lick to catch fish. They can do it close to home. That's the gist of it.
I can say for myself, I'd love to have those fish anywhere. I was just talking to my nephew in my nephew's handicap,
Yeah.
and he loves to fish. That's one of his favorite things. And he's like, when are you stocking my ponds? I'm like, I'm going to put in a request to stock those ponds. So,
Yeah.
yes, I think
So
that
yeah,
would be awesome.
we'll take care of it for you.
Thank you.
Is it only available to public ponds and lakes like the townships?
Like if you have a
Or do
subdivision.
private ones qualify also?
So if this is something you guys want to pursue, there would be a fishing agreement. It's a contract, for lack of a better, we call it a fishing agreement. That's what I'll refer to it as. But it's a contract that basically you enter into with the state of Ohio that says that this body of water is going to be a public body of water. You cannot discriminate based on race, gender, sex, religion, whatever, who can come fish in this pond. So private ponds, for everybody that I've talked to, they're not interested in that because any Joe guy off the street can come fish in their pond, and they're not usually interested in that. But the way I understand it, your park's are already open to the public, and anybody can come fish there anyway. So there's a couple of things to be aware of. This would require all persons, if it becomes a public body of water and we have an agreement, all persons aged 16 and older would be required to have a fishing license.
Okay.
Okay, so
How
that
much
would
is
be
a
obviously
fishing
the
license?
the person fishing would be responsible for that. They can go to our website, they can go to Walmart, get a state of Ohio fishing license, and then they can go fish.
How much
think-
is a license?
For a resident, it's 24 and change, I think.
I think that's the same as Hamilton County, right?
So,
Great Parks
Parks of Hamilton County, at most of their properties, they require a
Yes.
state of Ohio fishing license. I
That's
think
what I
there's a
thought.
few that they don't.
Yeah.
But Cedar Creek, East Fork, Stone Lick, Great Miami River, the Ohio River, you have to have a Ohio fishing license. So everyone would be required to have a fishing license. Then there would also, the pond would also then kind of revert to, it would allow, statewide regulations would apply. So legally speaking, people could harvest fish from the pond. So when we put the trout in, we stock them at a catchable size, and we like people to take them home. That's kind of the point, is we put them in there at a size, we want people to catch them. If they want to throw them back, that's great, but if they want to take them home, they can do that as well. So people would be legally allowed to harvest fish. There's statewide regulations on certain species, size limits and bag limits. I can get into all that if you guys have questions on it.
No, we'll take you through your, we'll just follow that, yeah.
So you would just be stocking trout?
Trout, and then we could also do catfish, like in the summer. And then we're working on a catchable bluegill program, but to be honest, that's probably a couple years away. But we would like to have kind of like a suite of things. So we stop, the trout are a springtime thing, March, April, cold water. Once it gets super hot in the summer, the trout die. The ones that haven't been taken home die, and they're not there in all summer to be caught. So we'd like to put some catfish in the summer, so there's something else for people to catch. And then we'd also like to put some sunfish, bluegills, that green, whatever it is, in, so there's fish for people to catch.
That'd be perfect.
Okay.
Do we have to check the water pH or whatever to make sure
No,
it's not too far this way or too far that way? We don't have to worry about
We,
that.
we have regular maintenance with Jones Fish that does all that stuff for us.
Got it. Okay.
oh,
good.
they do, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, we stock the fish. We don't do, like water quality stuff. If there's like maintenance issues, we tend to like not do that stuff. We're like fish stuff, so.
So do you only do fish?
Um,
Like, is there a wildlife flower program or anything like that? Because I'm always about that kind of natural resources and natural stuff.
Yeah, so we have private lands, we have wildlife biologists that work for us, and they work with private and public entities to put wildlife habitat on the ground, so,
And do they have grants or anything that,
yeah.
oh, well, you should give them a card, because we should call them.
Yeah, like I'm not an expert on the wildlife side of things. I do fish, but I know for like,
But I'm always looking for that angle.
yeah, like in Columbus, like they got all kinds of programs and grants. We have like fishing, aquatic education. We got like tons of grants. You guys can do fishing events, and they'll give you a bunch of money to buy poles to give to the kids. And
I
come
would love to
fish.
do a fishing
Like a
event.
fishing derby.
I would love
Lots
to do
of
that. We've
lots
talked
of
about that for
cities,
years.
townships do stuff
Yeah.
like that, and they, yes, they have grants available to do that.
Okay.
Out of the Columbus office.
And we could just go on the website and start pulling that stuff up. Or-
Yeah, if you go to the Division of Wildlife, and then there's like over on the left, there's like drop downs, and one of them is
Or
grants.
should we be
and
taking somebody to
aquatic
lunch,
ed.
talking about it all?
Yeah,
So how frequently would you restock these things? You said trout or cold water.
yep, so that'd be.
They
one-
die off if they're not caught?
Correct. That's why we prefer them to be harvested and utilized.
Right.
I would
So,
say.
so yeah, once the water gets to about 75 degrees, the trout tend to not do so good. So small bodies of water like yours in the middle of the summer, the trout will not be there to be caught. So then we would come back the next year sometime in March, early April, stock more trout. And they're there for a month or two, 3 months sometimes. But usually by the end of May, they're kind of on their way out. But then, yeah, we'd come back, we can stock catfish. If that's something you guys want, we can stock catfish.
Kidding? Why not?
And, yeah, trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, there's another selling point, I guess. So we have a wildlife officer in every county. Hamilton County is currently vacant, but we're hiring new officers right now. They're all going through the process. When a wildlife officer gets assigned to Hamilton County, this agreement will give him jurisdiction authority to come check in when we stock the trout or whenever he's not gonna be there all the time, but he has the authority to write fishing, wildlife, and litter violations. So I know this at over in Hamilton Township in Warren County, they're really good friends with the officer over there. That's like a big thing for them. They want him swinging through there, making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do, because their folks obviously don't specialize in fish and wildlife, and our officers do. So they work together a lot. They're excited about that. So. Yeah, I think those are the main points. Any other questions?
Nope, I think we're good.
I have
Thanks for coming.
copies of the contract if you guys want to look them over.
I
we
have it
can-
attached to the resolution, so.
So if anything in there doesn't look good, I don't remember which version I gave you, but someone talks about like voting. You don't
Yeah, I
have to-
think that
you
was the one
don't-
I was gonna cross off, because we
you
just don't have
to
any
allow
access
voting.
for that.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
make the
we
wording, the hours match your hours of operation, that type of stuff.
Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll
Appreciate
talk-
you coming down here.
No
Yeah,
problem.
very excited.
Yep,
I'll talk to you, and I've been talking to Bill. If you have more questions,
Okay.
just let me know.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right, so, I guess I need to.
Just do a roll call, yeah.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, but
I'm excited about fishing tournaments.
I'll say okay. Aye.
You
Did you
said
say aye?
Yes.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-62, resolution authorizing the township administrator and Choice One engineer to prepare and submit an application to participate in a transit infrastructure fund program and to execute contracts as required.
Second.
Phil got it.
Discussion?
What's a transit
This,
infrastructure
I'm
fund
assuming this is-
program?
is this,
Neat.
So this
is
is
this
a
the
new-
sort of close to the bus stops kind of?
Yeah, this is
Grants.
Metro. This is that new tax that got implemented last
Yeah.
year that got voted in on the ballot.
Aren't we running short of time to apply?
No, it's due June 30th.
That's
That-
short of time.
Well, not if we
Today's the
vote on it
14th.
tonight.
Today's the 14th.
You just submit it.
We just have, everything, we've already pre-planned
Okay.
and,
All
like,
right.
worked on the application. We just needed you guys to pass the resolution.
Okay.
To do it. But it basically puts forth $28 million from SORTA's budget and to put towards projects that benefit their buses. So it can either be for bus terminals, bus facilities, or bus routes, or it can also be for sidewalks. So that's what we had talked about at one of our work sessions, is applying for money to put sidewalks on Fields Erdel Road, because it has to be sidewalk projects or projects that are within 3/4 miles of a bus route. And we do have a bus stop on Fields Erdel at Royal Point Drive, and Fields Erdel is one of those bus routes that comes from Warren County into Hamilton County.
Okay,
Good.
all right. Anything else? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-63, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Nature Works Grant application program through ODNR and execute contracts as required.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-64, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to purchase portable radar signs for the road department from Clean Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $10,087.52.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, how many are we talking
This is
about?
Snyder Road that we're
Two.
talking about?
Just, are we talking just two? Or are we
Yes.
buying
Two
an extra?
portable, and then there's one demo that we got in there to buy too, so it'd be a total of 3.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is Snyder.
Better.
We're talking
Snyder,
4.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
two-
they're
two would be
earmarked for
put on
but
Snyder.
I was wondering if we'd buy one to rotate around.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got in there, I think the cost estimate has like 3, like a third one that we can buy. That's just a demo, so it's less money.
Okay.
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 But does it work? I mean, if it's just a demo?
Yeah?
Okay. So we can use it.
Yeah. Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-65, resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 9099 Fox Hunter Lane and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-66, resolution providing for the declarations of nuisance for the property located at 8887 Weekly Lane and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-67, resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 9203 and 9295 McKinney Road and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, they're, okay. Are they next door to each other?
Yes.
Are they owned by the same person?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-68, resolution declaring the necessary and intention to appropriate, acquire ownership interests of property located near Klugler Mill and commonly referred to as Memorial Park.
Second.
Discussion? I think we already talked about this. Roll call?
Yeah.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-69, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into agreement with the Skeet Humphreys Construction LLC in the amount of $38,468 to replace a bathroom door and locks on Symmes Park with new electronic strike doors.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-70, a resolution agreeing to sell certain equipment to Sycamore Township.
Second.
Discussion?
This is a sidearm mower.
I thought we,
Yes.
Okay.
Sycamore Township?
You don't have to say yes.
Roll call.
Bill wanted me to ask.
Roll call. Don't ask me first.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Oh. Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-71, resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 117117 Gables Road and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of nuisance.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolutions G 2022-72, resolution amending Resolution G 2022-51, authorizing the purchase of preemption device and various other equipment from Pathmaster in an additional amount of $3,160.
Second.
Ken's got it.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-73, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to sign an agreement with Choice One Engineering for engineering service for Terwilliger Court Storm Outlet Replacement Project in the amount of $13,850.
Second.
Discussion?
So just a little history on this one. This is a project that we approved back in 2019 or 2019. And we couldn't reach, like, by the time the contractor was able to get to it and because of the weather delays, the pipe had actually come apart. So, and it actually kind of moved in a place where now it's going to require even more work than it did before. So we need to have engineered drawings so that we can try and figure out what needs to occur. I think what's going to happen is where it's located on Terwilliger's Court is the pipe goes across the whole stretch of the mouth of the cul-de-sac, and then there's a manhole, and we think what we're going to have to do is put another manhole in down the hill because it's a steep hill, and we're going to have to run a pipe and connect the two manholes and connect another pipe to that before we let it outlet onto the property. We also had issues accessing the pipe because the road is up here and the pipe is actually, like, the outlet is down here. So we have to figure out a way to try to get to the pipe because we might have to come through another person's property to do it. So we have to get easements, and that kind of delayed it. So it's turned into a giant project now.
Kim, as an aside, is sometimes we can get grant money to fix these kinds of infrastructure? Or would this go under some grant that we already have?
We could
I'm talking
apply for
beyond the
OPWC
engineering.
money.
I'm talking about the actual fixing of it.
Yeah, we could apply for OPWC money in the fall.
Okay, all right.
Okay, anything else? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Ms. Lees.
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-74, resolution providing for the declaration of nuisance for the property located at 9239 Link Road and authorizing all necessary steps for the abatement of the nuisance.
Second.
Discussion?
Do
Roll
we
call?
know what
Sorry.
might happen with this property? I mean, when we say authorizing all necessary steps.
What we'll do is
Is
the
this
health
a tear
department, I
down?
think, has been out there to condemn it, and then we pass a resolution, and then the thing with, I think it's section 86. There is actually a new section in the Ohio Revised Code that requires us to have a hearing. So first step is we have to declare it a nuisance, we have to give them time to fix it, and then we send them another notice saying, hey, we sent you this, we passed a resolution, we sent you a notice, we told you had to repair it or fix it or tear it down. You didn't do it. and now you're entitled to a hearing. Do you want to come in and talk to us in a meeting and tell us why you haven't done it? And then once they have done that, if we can't come to a resolution, then we can tear it down. And then we would have to go through the process of that, of trying to
Okay.
tear it down.
Okay.
It's a longer process, but.
All right, thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-75, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to sign an agreement with Prodigy Building Solutions LLC in the amount of $96,780 to remove and replace the compromised sections of the garbage structure steel at Remington Fire Station. Couldn't get that
Second.
one out. Discussion?
This is to repair the structural beam support system in the garage at the fire station. I don't know how it was discovered, but Bill found out that the structural beams that are in between the garage structures themselves, the openings, they are rusted to the point where they have to be taken out and replaced. The bad thing is when we constructed that building in 1992, when they constructed it, they put the steel, instead of like how you make a building now where you put the concrete footers in and then the steel goes on top of that, for whatever reason back then, they used to sink it. So the steel is actually in the concrete, so it needs to be jackhammered out and taken up, and then they're gonna pour concrete to come up and then attach the beams, the structures to the concrete itself versus sinking it in the ground again.
They
So
have to
that's
take
why
it-
it's
They have to
costing.
take it out, or they can't just cut it off and leave?
Nope,
the-
they have to actually jackhammer out and take it out and then put new footers in that spot and then put the steel on top of
Okay.
it.
All right,
Okay. Roll call.
no wonder it's
Ms. Lees?
expensive.
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of the following expenditures and authorize for the Township Administrators to sign any necessary contracts, agreements, or paperwork. A, expenditure, $495.86 Sean Foster refund for a variance request that was withdrawn due to text amendment changes for rear yard setbacks.
Second.
I guess that's it. We got a second?
Ken.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move to go into executive session, ORC Section 121.22G1, to consider the compensation and employment of a public employee or official, and 2, to consider the purchase of property for public purpose.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.